and now you catch me loafing. Upon doing the last video, there was a few things that I thought that, one, I didn't clarify, and two, actually mainly one, I didn't clarify. First off, when I was talking about living in luxury, it wasn't a case of, you know, financial luxury. It was more of a comparison with humans of the past. So, for example, comparing us to 18th century human beings, where a lot of belief structures come from, or primitive belief structures come from, or, you know, 18 whatever, you know, we want to talk about 0 BC, you know, before the advent of modern medicine, or what I would deem as modern medicine. You know, we are living in luxury. I mean, I understand that we're not living, you know, we're not all living in mansions, but the average life expectancy of people is doubled easily over the last 200 years of modern man's discoveries, and so I put it in those terms, and that's why I think that we have all of a sudden now have this as I call it, a freedom, which is a freedom to go alternative medicines, because the medicine we have at the moment is so effective that we have that choice to go elsewhere, because we know we can fall back, and it's an amazing crutch. It's like, you know, it's amazing what you can do when you have $2 million, pounds sitting in a bank account. It's amazing the risks you could take when you already have financial issues, unlike people from previous generations who on those terms were sitting with, you know, maybe 50p in the bank. It's amazing the risks they couldn't take, and thus that desperation caused people to search for answers, when the answers they had, that we are now embracing as a whole, as a society, people are embracing these, just didn't solve. I mean, that's the point, is that if, for example, crystals or, you know, religions were the answer, surely they would have been the answer. That's the one thing people can't really, they can't drop an answer to. The fact that things have evolved, our morality system has evolved. You know, if they want to talk about the birth of morality, I mean, the morality system is so different from the advent of Christianity, or the birth of Christianity, that the ridiculous statements within the Bible are made clear, you know, and more clear now. It's like, if these systems were really that great, or that impressive, you know, that awe-inspiring, that supernatural, surely more evidence would have come to light. You know, it's one of those things that you have with something like evolution, that the one section of society criticizes evolution. They say, evolution, there's no evidence, whereas in fact more evidence has happened over time. Now, you would think that the same would hold true for other beliefs, but by definition being supernatural, there isn't really any evidence that can come about, or not anything that we can discover. I mean, it just seems really weird that, you know, and it's been answered on YouTube so many more times than me, and so more succinctly and better. I mean, one person who really does it really well, for anyone who's just kind of looking into it and wants to show to other people, is someone like the non-stamp collector, who does some amazing cartoons, and he's really put out that whole point in a religious context. But I think the one thing about watching Richard Dawkins, this is why this is part 2, to kind of link it and tie it all together in like a little knot, like a little, you know, is the fact that it's not just religion, it's other things as well. I mean, we're tying back to all these old beliefs, and as Richard Dawkins says in the documentary, ancient isn't always better. We're just tying back, and people have the luxury of saying, oh yeah, they were based in something. They were based in something that, if it was repeatable and had the ability to be peer-reviewed, would have been integrated into science. And the fact that it's not really answers a lot of questions, really, for me anyway. So I kind of wanted to clarify that really it wasn't a luxury in a kind of, you know, wow, we've got, but luxury as in we have these things that we can depend on, which is from science. I mean, look at science. If you want to look at the feats of engineering, you can say they're not scientific, but they're still based on the same process of having to be repeated. You know, the cars we drive, the clothes we wear, these things are all based on that kind of same principle. You know, the fabric, it must stand up to tests, it must stand up. These are all kind of repeatable, and thus, for me, you can't throw out the bathwater and expect a baby to stay in the bath, not unless you believe in supernatural beings or incredible amounts of glue, which I really wouldn't advise anyone watching this to glue a baby in a bath. No. But the whole point is, you can't. I can only speak for myself. I don't support science out of faith. There's lots of things I don't want to believe. You know. There's lots of things I don't, but you have. There's lots of things I don't know that works, but we take that because not on faith. For example, my mobile phone. I don't have faith that it will work. I switch on a button and it switches on. If it doesn't work, if I press the button and it doesn't switch on, I'll charge it in. I'll get a new battery. Then I'll get a new phone. There's a certain steps. I mean, I might take it to a repair shop. But there's steps that you know that if it doesn't do what you think it's going to do or it's meant to do, there's steps you can undertake to make it work. And if it doesn't, you know it's totally broke and it's done and it's not going to work. And your job's done. And the thing is, that's the world of science that we live in. That realistically, you know, if something doesn't work, we take these steps, we undertake these steps to try and work out why it's not working. You know, trying to just say, you know, the tooth fairy or the spaghetti monster made it work isn't the right thing to do. And it's the same with holistic theories. It's like, you know, the weird chi in the gland. I mean, I know it helps us these days to try and generalize, to try and justify the world, and that's the problem. The problem for science is it's been too successful. It's given us too much, and it's given us actually the options to question because it has so many answers. But the thing is, people always say, you science. Like, I was watching a documentary and someone said, you scientists, you scientists, you presume that you're so arrogant. And I think it was Deepak Chopra. You know, you guys are so arrogant. And it's like, well, no. Science has asked the questions and found the answers. It's inherently not. Science, a non-existent entity, is arrogant? Like, how much disdain must you have for science to tar a non-existent entity as, you know, that was a primary example of the distance between and how people justify their own now, you know, their own beliefs based on this group of superstitions. And that's the point. A lot of things are superstitions, and we have the luxury to do that, to be superstitious, because of science and because of the advantages and the sheer leaps that science has given us. And it's not about some sort of praise to the altar of science. Just be realistic, be honest that you have the ability to do what you want to do, and to believe in, I don't know, feng shui or, you know, chakras, or because of the advantages science has given us. And anyway, that's me peacing out again. Less graphics and funny stuff on this one, more just me blazing down because it's like too early in the morning and my brain's a bit frazzled. Anyway, thank you for watching, peace out, and I'll catch you later.